So my name is Emily Schuler. I'm a sophomore in college at UNT, and I'm an advertising major, and this is my story. Why do I like hammocking? It's just so relaxing. Like the swaying motion of it, I'm all about it. Like it's just so relaxing. I like to go to the quiet places, and like, I guess those are the places you can hear God. And like to think about God creating all of this. I pretty much just grew up in church. I started going to church with a family friend in like the 4th grade. I was super involved in youth group. Like my parents are the classic like youth group parents, and I had a lot of friends, and I love small group. I got a really great mentor out of that. So then I started high school, and I got super into volleyball, and it just became this like year-round thing that I was just like consumed by pretty much. My junior year, I got the opportunity to move up to varsity, which is a really big deal for me, at least, I guess. After that first season of like school volleyball, I went skiing the next winter break, and I tore my ACL, which is just like devastating because it's right before my senior year when it like seriously matters, and it was just really rough. But I was so determined to like be okay by like my senior year to play volleyball. I had surgery and I started to recover, and in that that was hard. That was just like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, physical therapy. Sitting there on this bed, and like you had this leg that was totally fine, and then the next day it just doesn't anymore. Like you can't bend it, you can't ride a bike, like you can barely even walk. I remember this one day in specific that like things just got really hard, and I just like broke down in physical therapy. Like I just reached that breaking point. I just wanted to be better like so soon, and like it takes a lot of time. And I finally realized that like I'm not gonna be able to do this without God. Like I'm like, my relationship with Christ was so not the middle at all. Like I was just so consumed by volleyball and like idolizing it that like I want to do this now, and like I didn't care what other plans like God had for me. Like that was irrelevant to me at that time. By like God's grace, I was able to like do physical therapy and everything in 5 months, which is like sooner than most ACL patients can do. I tried out for volleyball, and I got in, and I hated it. Like it was not what I wanted to be. I just like didn't like it anymore. I didn't love it. I didn't find any joy in it, and I was just like not about it. I ended up not even finishing my senior year off in volleyball, which is really cool kind of because I got to do a lot of like other stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do if I was in volleyball, which also counts though. I got to do like things that were not like very, I guess, what's the word, just like God honoring, I guess would be the good word for it. I got involved in like partying a little bit, and like it's just like I'm free, like I don't have any responsibilities, like this is my senior year, I can do whatever I want. And so in that my relationship with Christ like started to fail again, and like things just got bad, and I drifted further and further, and things just weren't good. Right after my senior year, my grandma got really sick, and that was really hard. So she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and a month later she passed away. That time just goes by so fast, you know, you don't realize. One thing she said like right before she passed away that like sticks with me still, just like a couple of things like never go to bed angry, like we hear that all the time too, but also just like that every day is a new day, and like don't forget that. As I was preparing for college, it just became evident to me that like I'm gonna have to pick 2 paths. Like I can either choose like the stereotypical college path that like stereotypically every college student does or whatever, or I could choose a path of like Christ that's Christ-centered, and like I can like go down that road. And I guess like in my mind as like high school Emily, I was just thinking like oh, this is like gonna be so fun, like college, whatever, but then like if you follow this road with Christ, like you're gonna miss out on like classic college experiences, which is a total lie. Like don't believe that. So I got to college, there's this cafeteria called Maple, and it was closed on a Friday, and I was just like walking up to Maple, and who do I see? This girl named Tina from my high school. And so it was just like such a weird place to see her. Like I didn't really like know Tina or anything. We like meet, and she asked me like, are you involved in anything on campus? And I was like, no, like just like kind of looking around, doing my own thing. And so she's like, you should check out the sorority Sigma. And she said it's a Christian sorority, so like that seems like such a non-existent idea, a Christian sorority. I was just like, yeah, like I'll check it out, why not? And so I go to the info tee, and I loved it. Like I met my best friend there. It was just so clear that like God had like set this in my path, and that like Emily, like this is the path that I've chosen for you, and like this is an opportunity that I'm like presenting to you. Like, do you want to take it? I like did all the Sigma stuff, got into Sigma, and I was just like super happy. I met some of like the best people I know there, and everyone is in different stages of life, but like we're also in the same stage, if that makes sense. Like we've all been through different things, and so you can ask anyone about anything and like somebody will have an answer, like somebody's been in that spot before. So then the next semester, it was like my first semester as a member, and I was just really excited, and it was so crazy to think about it now. So like my grandmother passed away the summer before college, like that I go through my first semester, and the next semester my best friend Macy, who I met at InfoT, whatever, her grandpa passed away. In that moment, it's like one of those things where you realize like, oh, like that's what God was doing, like through all that like pain and hurt and all of that, like this is how he's gonna like turn that into a blessing, like turn that into a gym. I got to be there for her for that and like truly understand like, hey, like I've been here, like I actually know what this is like, and not just like oh, I'm really sorry, like, because there's gonna be hard times, you know, and like the holidays come around and it's just like, oh, like this person isn't here anymore, and like that really stinks. I feel like God just like has placed these like mini or like seemingly minor events in my life that are just like, remember me, Emily, remember me, Emily, remember me. Like this is supposed to be like where you're directing your sights towards. So then I like come up to the semester and like things are going really well. I got a boyfriend, that's kind of neat. And so the first couple of weeks of the semester come by, and like the idea of time is just like, holy moly, there's not enough time in the day to do anything. So I had this dream, and it sounds so crazy, but like it makes so much sense at the same time. So I'm like watching my life from outer space, and I understand in my dream that like the sun is God, and like this is a center. And so like these other planets like are representing like other places of my life, like school, Sigma, friends, relationships, church, like all this other stuff. And I like see this in my head. And so like God's in the center, and like my life is like in the center, and like my focus is on Christ, and everything is like aligned. And so then it like flashes back to like other places in my life where Christ hasn't been the center, and it like goes back to the outer space, and the sun starts to wobble and the planet starts to fall out of a line. It was just like this like, oh my gosh, Emily, like what are you thinking? This is a moment like God's telling you like he's supposed to be the center, like it's gonna spill over and things are gonna come out of a line and they're not gonna gravitate the way they're supposed to. I feel like we sometimes put God in this box of like where he can be at certain times, or we limit him. And so then when things like, I don't know, like trips to Africa happen, or just like miracles that happen every day, we're so surprised, and like we shouldn't be surprised that God can do crazy stuff like that. I've gotten the opportunity to go to Africa this summer, which I'm so excited about, but I also know like God's preparing my heart and my mind for some like really crazy stuff, and I'm like really excited and like kind of nervous at the same time, but I'm really excited to see like where my faith grows through that. But I guess like just throughout my college career, if I were to give like any advice to somebody who was like coming into college and wasn't sure like who they wanted to be, to find like a group that's supportive of you like in any situation and encourages you and is like truly your accountability partner that can be like, Emily, I don't think you're doing this right, like this might be a better way that might benefit you more and like also be God honoring. Also get plugged into a church. I found this really awesome church, First United Methodist in Denton, and just like being involved there like is like gives you a purpose, I guess, and I just love it so much, and the people there, and finding Sigma and like finding a community in a church has like totally impacted my life 180 degrees, because like whenever you're at home, like it's just so easy to be a Christian, but whenever you're in this foreign country, or not foreign country, but like foreign land, I guess, of just like not knowing anybody, not knowing like who you want to be, like have any idea of who you want to be or like where you want to be in the next 4 years, to like find that is just, they encourage you in that and like help you like find out who you want to be in Christ. And like I wouldn't want to like see who I was without Christ, because like I just don't think it'd be as good. I know it wouldn't be as good.